Greetings ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another World of Warcraft Classic guide. This video will serve as the first installation in a new series that will provide you with a step-by-step methodology to help speed level you to 60. In episode 1, we will cover the calm before the storm. I will share general principles of speed leveling that I abide by, provide the add-ons you need, and some strategies you should follow regardless of faction or level. Let's begin. The principles of speed leveling. Number 1, use cooldowns frequently and obey the 5-second rule. This is the amount of time you must wait before your natural mana regeneration continues. Spend your mana in bursts, keeping everything on cooldown. Don't let your racials or offensive cooldowns sit unused unless you really think you need them for an impending emergency. Health and mana are both resources you need to leverage, and generally, if either are at 100%, you're not pushing the limits of your combat efficiency. Number 2, when in doubt, grind. Always be doing something. Stay productive on multiple fronts. Strive to hit 2, 3, 4 birds with one stone. If you get stuck, figure out your next move while killing nearby mobs. When things go wrong, grind to catch up. Monitor your XP per hour and don't let it dip below your projected time to level. Number 3, from levels 1 to 30, generally speaking, questing supplemented by grinding is faster. In the mid-game, from levels 30 to 48, grinding supplemented by questing is generally faster. In the late game, from 48 to 60, questing supplemented by grinding is generally faster. Number 4, no dungeons, no primary professions. Dungeon quests are too spread out and take too much time to collect. Other than first aid, ignore all professions as they're a gigantic time sink. Deal with them when you're level capped. The quests you unlock through professions aren't worth it, and if you're a healing class, you can even skip first aid. Now let's move on to setup. Step 1, set your game to full screen windowed mode so you can quickly alt-tab between the game and external resources such as Classic DB. Next, download the add-ons found in the video description. There you will find bongos for your bars, Luna unit frames, Titan Bar, which is an XP per hour tracker, Questy, Auctioneer, Auto Repair, Cartographer, Fast Mail, Easy Dismount, Informant, and Turn-In. After installing your add-ons, log in and set them up on a test server. Create and save a profile of your action bars, frames, and binds so that you can quickly load them up on your new character and not waste time. Step 2, research your class's ability progression. It is greatly advantageous to refresh your understanding of what abilities you get and when you get them. Find out what abilities are critical and which ones you can skip and budget accordingly. In vanilla, there will be stretches of time when you won't get any useful spells, and traveling to a class trainer every 2 levels is inefficient. Also remind yourself of where your class trainers are, as well as weapon trainers if you need a weapon skill. Links to all classes' ability progression will be in the description. Step 3, choose the right race. Look at all the racials in the game and ensure they synergize with your class of choice. Starting area congestion is also a factor to consider if you're playing on a fresh realm. For example, when a realm is packed, Taurens and Mulgore will generally have a faster start than Orcs and Trolls in the Valley of Trials. Step 4, plan your leveling path out in as much detail as possible. Think carefully about the small things you can do to optimize your path. In the early levels, look for graveyards you can use to tactically die and respawn at. Find a way to weave quests together seamlessly and always make use of your Hearthstone. Every class is different with regard to what quests they're capable of handling and what their class quests entail. Factor all of this into your plan. I will now share with you a sample of my leveling path through Durotar on my Troll Hunter. Having executed on this plan multiple times, I know I have to complete the Valley of Trials and hit level 6 in under 30 minutes, hit level 10 in under 2 hours, and level 20 in under 8 hours. Notice that I plan my weapon progression as well, buying a bow from the weapon vendor near Senjin Village for 2 silver 85 copper, and again upgrading my bow around level 11 after completing the second Harpy quest by Orgrimmar. If I was another class, such as a warrior, I would have to change this route, as they have a level 10 defensive stance quest which takes them to the Barrens earlier. Step 5, create contingency plans. Take a look at your quests in your plan that are dependent on a certain NPC or drop and come up with a contingency strategy so that you have something to fall back on when circumstances change. This is the case when too many people are camping the same mob, or something doesn't spawn, or something doesn't drop. I recommend finding a grinding spot nearby and grinding out the equivalent amount of XP you're missing out on. Step 6, practice. Actually executing on your plan on another server beforehand will allow you to refine your strategy and cut or add things based on first-hand experience, not theory. Now let's move on to some general techniques you can implement when leveling your character. Number 1, keep moving. Literally keep your character moving in a productive direction. Use the downtime between auto attacks to move your character. This helps for multiple reasons. Not only does it bring you closer to where you need to go after killing the mob, but it periodically brings you out of the hitbox of the mob so you take less damage overall. Number 2, skip quests. Don't be scared of making the decision to skip quests, as many in vanilla weren't worth it. When you get a new quest, take a second to think about the requirements and if it will be worth it given your character's current power level. How much time will this quest take and what is the payoff? In Classic, questing only becomes better than grinding when you can complete them efficiently. If you're not confident that you can complete the quest efficiently, don't do it and grind instead. Number 3, before you even create your character, create an alt that you don't even have to log into. Just make it and leave it at the character creation screen and use it as your bank alt. The add-on I've included allows you to send multiple items through the mail at one time, so instead of having to list things on the AH, you can just send anything of value to your bank alt and deal with it later. Number 4, worry less about upgrading your armor and more about upgrading your weapon. Of course, this applies primarily to physical damage dealers other than maybe a feral. The difference in a couple of your primary stat on a piece of armor is negligible when compared to upgrading your weapon. If you are going to invest your gold, do so on weapon upgrades and plan your leveling path with periodic weapon upgrades as a super high priority. Number 5, create quality of life macros you can use to save you time and APM in game. If you're playing a pet class, create pet attack macros that are tethered to your skill so your pet is proactive rather than reactive. If you're playing melee, create start attack macros tethered to your skill so you don't miss damage. Create macros that ask people if they want to group for a quest, or asking mages for some water, food, or a portal in exchange for a tip. Number 6, take any and all talents that increase your movement speed. People often joke that another way of interpreting your mount at level 40 is increase your leveling speed by 60%. However, there definitely is some truth to this. And with that, we are done. Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. We covered a lot. I hope this video helped you in some way, and I will see you in the next one. Safe travels.